But here's what's happening over here. Well, first of all, that wood pile is not going to be used for firewood because we basically don't burn any fires, except maybe we might have a fire in there and maybe there at the fire pit. But I'm going to use it in our HugelKulture garden, which I'm building over in this area. Predominantly, there's a pile of, what you call it, sod, I don't know, that I stripped off of this area here because I have to build a pathway starting there and climbing on a grade over to there and in there. So I have to build that part up, and I have to take this part down and end up with just a slight rise in grade, and then I'll be at the HugelKulture garden. Well, I've almost finished making the path from over there to right across to over there. The HugelGarden will go there. There's a little culvert I put in at the end of the path. I'm making this path so I'll be able to take a wheelbarrow along there, or a fridge dolly, so I can carry logs and stuff over there without having to go over a hill. And I almost got finished, but then the rain came and I've got that little mound in the center before I can say the path is finished. And of course now it's pointless to try to be out there working in the rain. A little more progress here. I got some of the logs laid down for the start of the HugelKulture garden. A little bit more of that pathway dug. Still, got rid of that hump in the middle yet though, but gradually it's getting reduced and spread out. Well, as you can see by the wheelbarrow tracks running along the path is functional. And I've moved a bunch of logs down into the HugelGarden. See if I can zoom in on that. So that's going to form the base of the garden. And I got to keep piling wood up until it forms a mound. And I have, not that wood, this wood, which I've already started to pick apart. And some of that is rotten. Most of it's rotten, so it's not firewood anymore. And although we might use some of the smaller pieces in our fire pit here, if anybody's up here that wants a fire. And I have lots of, well, I have quite a bit of forest sod that I can throw on top of the rotted logs once I get them built up to this proper height. And I can always get more in the forest. Okay, straighten out the path today. Didn't do much else because it's been raining all day, but Ron and Sarah are here. It rained all day today, and the pond came up, well, I don't know, 2 more inches, I think. Where's our measuring rock? Oh, here it is. Yeah, see? Look at that. The log pile is getting whittled down. Let's see if my snake friend is still here. Found a snake under the logs, no surprise there. And there's a mouse house. So as Lana expressed, the snake had his own little private pantry. And here's where the logs go. Down here, down the path. This path is going to get a coating of gravel when I get around to ordering it in, which may be this time or the next time. And here's where I'm building it up. Bit of work, but it's coming along. Unattractive at this point in time, but give it time. So that's that one pile gone. And this may be it for today. I may not do much more. It is Sunday after all. And I've got to think about how I'm going to do this. Am I going to take those smaller pieces of birch and throw them on top? Not sure birch is the best. The bark never rots. At least doesn't seem to. The inside rots quickly, which is good. So I just don't know. So I bought a new rake today and started sweeping the forest clean up there, getting all the forest duff and debris down into the HugelGarden. And there's the debris from the forest on top of the logs. So that's the next step in creating this garden. And tomorrow I'm going to take those logs and add them to it. Some of them might be solid, so I might use them as firewood, and the rest is going into. Well, here's the final stage of the HugelKulture garden. All of the birch has now been moved onto site, and I've covered it over with forest debris that I dragged from up there. And now comes the task of putting all of that sod, most of which I scraped off that rock, and also which came from digging the path. So I have to heave that over onto the garden, and then that should be it for this year. Okay, this is the finished product. Well, finished for this year anyways. The HugelKulture garden. And there it is, logs in the bottom. Other stuff, here's my step. See if it works. Yep, works good. Discovered a crevice in the rock. And it's waiting for the rain to clean up this rock here. And there's the garden. Let's look at it from this side over here. And, okay, what am I looking at? There we go. And let's take a look at the back side here. Climbing up the hill and behind the garden. Okay, and there it is. And next year, hopefully, we'll have some kind of crop. Squash, watermelon, who knows.